x-rays, and then you can kind of talk with them about things that we need to do. When a patient comes into our office, we want to kind of define exactly the problem, what we need to do about it, how long is it going to take, specifics about structural changes. Most every chiropractor focuses in the beginning on symptom care, which is kind of what this thing is about. Once you stand over there, you'll flip it over backwards towards you. Go ahead and flip that over. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about.
All right, point it toward me, Trey, a little bit.
Nope, just keep it like that. Flip it right over just like that.
And hold it up just a little bit.
There you go.
There, just like that. A little bit more. There you go. No, it's not. No, it's perfectly right there. It's like he's got it.
So everybody comes in here because of stress. Would you believe that? Most people realize that stress creates problems.
Yes.
So let's talk about that briefly, because there's three basic types of stress. There's traumas, injuries, falls, accidents, strains, bad posture over time, mechanical loading imbalances that physically jam up and load the joints abnormally. And that's a serious problem. It's one of the things that we help a lot on. I'm a specialist, and I'm actually credentialed and certified in spine trauma. Primary spine care, spine trauma, preventative care, wellness, sports rehabilitation. I've got a ton of credentials, probably too many. I actually was really fortunate. About 2 weeks ago, I was recognized nationally in the middle of a Zoom conference call. It was a nationwide conference call on primary spine care. It was our 13th primary spine care conference, and they stopped it. So we got a few people we want to recognize, and I was one of them. Made me feel good. Everybody I think likes to be recognized when they're doing a good job. So I was proud of that. But you know, it does, when you're recognized and when you're recognized and you are having to stand up in front of people, does it make you stressed a little bit to stand up here? A little bit? Yeah. So our thoughts, what goes in our head, is another type of stress. Some people are probably more afraid of standing up in front of a large crowd speaking than they are swimming with sharks. You know, it's kind of like, whoa, this is crazy. For me, my wife's a lot like that. Now, she can stand up in front of and sing in front of 10,000 people, but ask her to speak, forget about it. She's not going to talk. For me, I can't sing a lick, so it would scare me to death to have to carry a note. But I can talk, and I've been doing it for a long time. Next March will be my 39th year in practice. That's a long time. I doubt if I'll ever retire, but I enjoy what I do. As a matter of fact, it's not really a job. It's really a
lifestyle.
Passion. It's a passion, you know. So traumas, thoughts, and toxins would be the third one. A lot of people are exposed to different types of stress from not eating correctly or getting too much of the junk in the foods that we eat, the toxins that we're exposed to. There's a lot of chemicals. We talk a lot about that in the office on our one-on-one patient talks. There's an environmental working group. It's called EWG.org, EWG.org, and you can look up any product in your home that has a UPC code, like a scanner code, and it'll tell you exactly what's in that product. So if you want to know what kind of toxins is in your home, you can go to EWG.org, EWG.org, Echo, what's a W in medical language? W, I'll call it wolf, and I don't think that's right. I should know this. Golf is G. So Echo.
Whiskey.
Whiskey, thank you. EchoWhiskeyGolf.org is the site. So those are the three types of stress. And I don't know anybody that doesn't have some aspect of stress in their life. Go ahead and flip the chart. But here's the cool thing. God's designed our bodies to deal with stress in an appropriate way. What's supposed to happen is no matter what kind of stress that we have, all of it is end up being absorbed into our brain, and our brain is bihemispheric, meaning there's two sides to it, and it's like a repeating computer. The stress comes in, it goes back and forth, and it's supposed to respond with an appropriate signal to maintain the integrity of good function. That's what's supposed to happen. So the hemispheres work back and forth, and basically the brain controls all that. Now, if we're overloaded in stress, the brain can short out. Sometimes it can reboot. We call that a seizure. Sometimes when you have things and the oxygen levels drop, you'll have syncope. passing out spells, right? That can disable you, right? Okay, so these kinds of things can really be a problem, but when you're under stress, the brain will automatically shift to become dominant one side or the other. So if your brain dominantly shifts to the left, you're going to have the weakness on the right side of the brain, and then the left side of the body will kind of draw up and become weaker because it kind of works opposite sides of the brain. So go ahead and flip that over. So ultimately what happens is one side becomes weak and the other side becomes strong. Now this is significant in regards to, so what we're talking about is how does stress cause these things that we call subluxations, the alignment stresses that build up. So what happens is the strong side, the leg will draw up and get shorter. The strong side, the arm gets stronger, the muscles tighten up more, and the intensity begins to progress, and that begins to create the distortion. Does that make sense? So a simple concept of imbalance based on neurology. The end result is your body, your skeletal system, the nervous system, even the organs work out of balance. So your body's out of balance. That's too important not to repeat. We're going to say that again. When you're out of balance, your body, your skeletal system, the muscles, the nervous system, and the organs all work out of balance. Guess what? Things don't work right. I think he wants you to kind of hold it forward so the light doesn't shine and it gets bright, okay? So don't look at this, just hold this straight. That'll be good. And I'll tell you what's on the chart. Actually, I'll hold it and you can look at it. We'll swap.
Yeah.
Let's do this. That'll make it better. How's that? You can let it.
Are you good?
Is that good? Okay. So here's bad, and this distortion creates what we call subluxations. Now, here's a problem. Is there ever going to be a point in time when you don't have stress?
No.
So we have to talk about the process of getting better. The first step in the process is to get you loosened up and moving and feeling better. I cannot change anything structurally until you're feeling better. So that's kind of priority one. So then we begin to go through that corrective care process. We know that your brain has energy and vitality and tone that sends messages through the nervous system, down through the spine, to the different body parts, and it controls and coordinates pretty much everything. The energy flows from above down, inside out. The information and the mobility are critical for good cellular function. And that's what it should be. But there's a problem. When you have an overload stress that causes misalignment, that we call subluxation, it begins to choke off the signaling cascade. It will either slow down the signals or weaken the signal to the point that there's no longer the good connection, good control. We call that a subluxation. You lose information, and that's what causes the damage. So as the damage begins, and I was telling your husband this earlier, and I said, look, he's telling me that the pain just began, and he's thinking that the pain is the problem. And I'm like, look, you got to have a problem for pain to come. So we're more concerned about what's causing the pain than just getting rid of the pain only. We got to focus on obviously helping you. And I can't change anything until you're feeling better. So the good news is you're going to feel better first. But if you don't get to feeling better, I can't change anything. So we have a really important, critical time frame that we focus on. Really, the first 2 weeks is kind of like you come in more intensively, and we're going to have a sit-down case management report. Are you feeling better? Are you making progress? If you are, then now we can continue on with the plan. If you're not, then we got to take a stop, check, point, and figure out what's going on. Why are you not making the progress? And there's so many different variables, and so many people have different complications or associated complications that can interfere or interact with the health of a patient. I had a lady came in today that had really bad back problems, but she's got some serious neurological issues with her heart that we can see where it's coming from, and she had to have a pacemaker put in just to keep her from passing out. And there's also some other issues that she's got structurally at the bottom of her spine, and she's got a lot of other issues where she's had to have her gallbladder removed. She's got a lot of digestive issues. She's got obviously the heart problems. So those are a lot of we call them comorbidities. That's a complication. That's going to kind of interfere with the quickest recovery. So I'd rather work on somebody young that's relatively healthy, maybe just get them balanced. They respond so much better. But we don't want the dysfunction and disease to develop. So in essence, a subluxation is kind of like a dimmer switch or a rheostat. You know how a light will, you turn the knob and the lights get dim? Why does it happen? Because it creates resistance in the line and the lights dim. So if you're looking at the power or the vitality flowing from your brain to an organ, and you got a dimmer switch on and that organ's not keeping up the demand, it'll never work right. And it's always going to be a problem, which is what we don't want. So that's a problem. So maybe one half of the body might work bright and normal, but the other half is out of balance and working dim, and it's very destructive. So in the process of recovery, let me just turn this up like this, might help you a little. We kind of keep it tilted to the front like that. How's that? Is that good? You got it? Okay.
That's good.
So ultimately, we want to balance the brain. Now, we always start in the beginning by just increasing motion of the joints. When things are tight, not moving, they become inflamed, and that inflammation causes pain and damage, destructive damage. The word inflammation in medicine is the ITIS word at the end of any medical term. Tonsillitis, inflammation of the tonsils. The word joint is arthro. So over time, a subluxation will make the problem worse because of the arthritis destructively damaging the bones. And you know, your husband, I'll show you his, and he's going to have these huge bone spurs and very narrow spacing at the base of his neck. Well, those are the nerves that run to his fingers. So until we change his holding posture, get the contours reestablished, he's going to have a problem. A normal neck curve curves forward. So if I'm looking that way, it ought to curve this way. That's called a cervical lordosis. The curve going backwards is called a lordosis. And I just read an article this week that was posted in the British Medical Journal, BMP, British Medical Journal, it's a very prestigious journal, about cervical kyphosis. And they studied people living in a nursing home, and they found that if you had a backwards curve in your neck, it would shorten your life and you would not be able to remain independent.
Wow.
Had a direct correlation. We also know that head translation, shifting forward, will cut off the blood flow to your brain. How do you think that's going to affect dementia and things like that? Thinking, thoughtfulness, control of memory. It's a negative impact. So once we get things loosened up, we start trying to get things lined up and moving better first, and then ultimately work on balancing. Now, once you're more balanced, you become much more stable. And if you can maintain that stability long enough, your body will actually function better over the long haul. And that's kind of like the primary objective in the corrective care. Now, once it's stable and been maintained stable and the body heals, now you're moving into more of a preventative type care plan. You're proactively changing the structure. Now, once that's to its maximum improvement, the last phase is what we call maintaining, this maintenance. All right? So what we really want ultimately is to have good energy, good mobility, good motion of the spine, good flow, running from above down, inside out, and you have better information and better function, which is in essence what health really is. It's an uninterrupted flow of energy from your brain to your body, with no obstructions, no interferences, clear, open pathways. And maintained over your life is going to let you live longer and be healthier. So we do different workshops at different times. One of them is called Living Healthy to 100. I subscribe to the concept that if you could keep this going for a long time, God's got it planned out where you could have a good 100 healthy years. I can also assure you, if you don't have this, you're not going to make it. Your body will deteriorate as a result of the arthritic changes and the stiffness on the joints. And you can't, who wants to live long and not be able to know who they are or where they're at? Or you can't get up and down and move. That's no fun. So we want to try to create some fun, and we focus on this horizontal balance and vertical alignment because health comes from above down, inside out, and the body is innately designed to heal itself. So if you want your normal health potential and have the maximum vitality and the most energy to fight off anything, then you need to make sure everything's squared up like this. Now, they've done other research outside of chiropractic that's documented brain-body connections And they basically say if you have good connections, and let's say you had a heart attack, your chances of surviving a heart attack are really good. But if you have bad connections and you have a heart attack, you may not survive. If you get COVID, you'll respond quickly, whereas if you have bad connections, you're gonna have all kinds of crazy complications from it. And it goes not only there, but to the digestive system. It affects your immune system. Autoimmune disorders are radically made worse if you have poor connections. Bowel problems, the pancreas gets its supply from the brain, so diabetes can run uncontrollable. I mean, there's just too many complications and bad things that will happen if you don't have that, if you don't have this. So this is important, and this is kind of what we focus on. So all of these things are important, and I believe everyone needs chiropractic care, everyone, including children. And so we try to make it a point to be able to do that. Here, come here, Kip. I'm going to introduce you to my Facebook Live group. Kip is a buddy of mine. He has, the company is called Caring Medical.
That's right.
He does medical supplies, and one of the things that he does that he helps us out with is he helps put in these really fancy back support braces for people that need support and stability. If your body is weak and out of balance in the beginning, we have to stabilize. If you've got core trunk weakness and you don't support that strained, injured back, it's not going to get better too well. So he's a big help for us. He supplies these to us. We fit them. He bills them. It's a great system that he's got, so he's able to really help us out a lot. It's a great brace, and I appreciate you being part of it. What other kind of products do y'all have in your company? You have all kinds of
we do, Dave, we have diabetic shoes, and we have oxygen. We do CPAP mask.
So if I need an oxygen tank refilled, y'all could
Yes.
help us out with that?
Yes, yeah, we can do that, and we do the knee braces, and we do the ankle braces.
You stand close to you so you can get good sound here. I've got this little thing. Here, you put this close to you.
Okay.
So you got knee braces. I know we've used the neck braces from you.
That's right,
Wrist braces.
Right.
We've used knees.
right.
We get a lot of people that come up here with really bad degenerative knees, compressed joints. We have, what's the time right now? I don't want to.
We have 6:49.
Okay, so we're good. We got a minute or two.
Okay.
So, you know, it's important to be able to get the proper support for healing to take place. When you have a strained joint, any joint, there's a formula for recovery. You have to protect the joint. You want to rest the joint, not overwork it. You need to compress the joint. And all of these supports do that. And of course, the other part is icing and elevating. If you have a sprained ankle, you want to ice it and elevate it. The formula is an acronym word called PRICE, P-R-I-C-E. Protect, rest, ice, compression, and elevate. That's the solution for any sprained joint, whether it's an ankle, knee, wrist, neck, or back. You want to kind of protect it, rest it, ice it, compress it, elevate it. These braces traction up and elevate the spine and take the weight off the disc. And if you have a bad joint, it's a messed up problem. So we're finished with our workshop. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and I'll see you when you get back.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and then we're pretty much done with everything. You need to tell anything else about what y'all do?
Dave, we do a lot. We've been in business over 14 years, and we have pretty much a variety of everything. We have, if you come in our store, you're going to find probably what you're looking for. We keep unique, different stuff in. We keep oxygen supplies, oxygen. And we also, we do wound care too.
And you have specialized shoes for diabetics?
Yes, we do diabetic shoes, and we try to do anything with orthopedics. We do anything that you have, if you need crutches, or if you just need a walker, stuff like that, we do that too.
So it's Caring Medical, and they're on Snow Street, back towards downtown, on the left in a little plaza just past Hale.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So,
And we open from 9 to 4:30, and if you're out that way, stop in and check us out.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming. I'm gonna go ahead and finish everything. You can
Thanks a
take
lot.
those on back, and I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're pretty much done with everything. Do you have any questions about anything that I've gone over?
Well, you pretty much answered my question about the diabetic shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, and that may be something in the future that I may no benefit from,
Okay.
because I'm challenged. I'm saying I'm diabetic, but I'm
There you
challenged.
go, don't claim it, I agree with that. Hey, we actually have these really, somebody came up here and put these little phones for people that have hearing problems, difficulty hearing. It'll actually read the screen, so we try to support our patients in all kinds of things.
Mhm.
So if we don't have an answer for you, we'll find it out.
Okay.
Our mission, my mission, is to help change the health of our community. In the past, I tried to just influence people's decision-making, and I've come to the realization that it doesn't work. People are only gonna do what they wanna do.
Mhm.
So what I have decided to do differently, and it's been really within the last year, and here I've been in practice almost 39 years, and here in just the last year, I've had this new perception of how I need to do it differently.
Mhm.
And I'm really fired up and doing things, more one-on-one in connection. And what we're trying to do is have a transparent heart and help you reach your health goals. And I believe if I can help you reach your health goals and get what you need by coming here, you'll be happy and have an ability to express the joy that you receive from being better.
Right.
And then what I've got to do is encourage you to be able to share that joy and hope with other people. So sharing the hope is kind of what I'm hoping to see happen. That way, I'm not trying to influence people. We're just simply holding out our hand and saying, there's hope for you too.
Right.
You, Mike, could get some help. He helped me. Maybe there's hope for you too. And then let those people make that decision to come up here themselves. That's the difference in how we're approaching this. Used to, you would see me out and about everywhere there was a group gathered. I would be in the midst of them trying to, convince people to come in and get checked and all. I don't do that anymore. It's not what I want to do. I want to get information out to you, and I want to support you meeting your health goals and helping you live a healthier future life. So that's pretty much, we got 5 minutes before the end, and so we're going to end 5 minutes early. Thank you all for attending. We'll be back again Tuesday next week. We do this every Tuesday, Facebook Live. We're going to start doing the Zoom calls again. We'll post this on YouTube probably. And love to have y'all come and join with us. We've got a brand new LED sign. We redid the sign, so now it's light and bright out there in the parking lot. Even though it's dark early, you can still see around. So this is Dr. David Wade, wishing you good health for a lifetime. Thanks for tuning in.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
No problem. All right, thank you.
You're a good